Hey, shout out to everybody that got fired this year. I know that's a wild take when we starting off the Millionaire Morning Show. Shout out to everybody that got fired this year. Real talk. I know that we don't like to talk about that aspect of life. We don't like to talk about it. Everybody got laid off. That's a lie. Everybody ain't get laid off. Some people just got straight up, boop, fired. Some people just got fired. Let's just keep it real. I remember when I got fired back right before the recession hit in 2008. I ain't get laid off. I ain't get no unemployment check. I ain't get none of that. My daughter was on the way, right? She was born in February 20th, 2008. Tell me about a time. What a time to be alive. I got fired. A lot of people wasn't here when I did that story or I broke down exactly how it is that I lost my job before we went into a recession back then. I got fired from the plant. And not only did I get fired, Rita got fired, and then it was a residual effect, and everybody around me got fired. Shout out to everybody that got fired. Best thing that ever happened in my life. Best thing that ever happened in my life. And not because I was doing what I was supposed to or it wasn't my fault. It was the best thing that ever happened into my life because it forced me to start taking accountability and having a hard discussion with myself to force myself to get out of the victim Olympics, stop blaming everybody else for my problems, stop leaning on the union in order to get my job back. I just accepted it. I was at a point in my life at that time. I'm going to keep it real with you. I was at a point in my life at that time. Everybody kept telling me, oh, the union can get you your job back. You should fight for it. You should go and talk to your union rep, escalate the situation. I knew I was wrong. I knew that I was wrong. I was wrong as two left shoes. I was as wrong could possibly be. It don't matter. They shouldn't have did that to you because technically they wasn't supposed to do that because they didn't have the proof that they needed and they went outside of what it is that they did in order to try to get the information to use to fire you. Listen, at the end of the day, I can't go based off of how they technically did it. They didn't read you your Miranda rights when y'all over here getting arrested and stuff like that. I don't live my life like that. I live my life based off of what the truth is. And when I started looking in the mirror and I started being honest with myself, I had truly messed up. I'm not cursing on the Millionaire Morning Show no more. Those days is over. If I make a mistake and curse, I'm going to have to correct myself immediately. It was my fault. I was the person that got fired. I was the reason why we were laid off. Not laid off. I was the reason why we didn't have any income. Going into 2008, 2007, 2008, everybody got laid off. Everybody got messed up. It was the best thing that had ever happened to me in my life. One of the few things that had ever happened to me. But it didn't become a blessing until I then started taking accountability for what my circumstances were based off of the fact that I was the one that messed up. Now, what really made me feel bad wasn't the fact that I got fired. What made me feel bad was all of the residual effect of the people that was around me. Now, they was wrong too, but I didn't want to be responsible for them having to take accountability for their own situation. And that's the thing that started to make me feel bad. That's the thing that started to make me feel sad. That was the thing that really, really bothered me because I knew that it was other people that had lost a significant amount of income. And I'm not talking about no regular jobs. I'm talking about executives. I'm talking about people that had been getting bags, that had a long tenure at their different positions. And if you have not seen that video, go and look up Anton Daniels fired from his job on the Millionaire Morning Show channel. And I broke down exactly how it is that I lost my job. And I had broke that down like 2 or 3 years ago when I first started this channel, like 2 years ago when I first started this channel. But yeah, man, it was the best thing that ever happened to me, but it didn't become a blessing until I started taking ownership of what my situation was and how I had put myself in that position to even get let go in the first place. And I had to suffer for it. And I had to go through some stuff as a result of it. And I had to own that. And I had a daughter that was dependent on me. And I was in the hospital when she was born. And it just changed my life. It changed my perspective completely of what it was that I needed to do as a man, as the leader of my household, as the person that had other people depending on me for their well-being. Listen, you're talking about a dude that had already had a covenant with his chick that said that, listen, when we have our daughter, you're no longer going to work. That's the end of the conversation until she become of age to where she's going to school full time. Then we going to start. You can't make that type of promise to somebody and then fumble the bag. You can't make that type of that type of promise to somebody and y'all come to that agreement and then she got to go back to work after she had a kid. That wasn't an option. That wasn't an option. At some point, I had to grow up fast Because just because you getting money, just because you 22, 23, 24, 25 years old, whatever it is that you are, just because you getting it, just because you old enough in order to be able to have sex, just because you got a job and you making over $100,000 a year, that don't make you a man. That don't make you a woman. Just because you can open up your legs and have somebody to be able to take advantage of it, that don't make you great. That don't make you awesome. That don't make you an adult. That don't make you grown. I had to grow up fast, quick, fast, and in a hurry. All of that spending, all of that fumbling. Yeah, I had some things that was going on. Yeah, I had a significant amount of money that was put up, but I was unwilling to use that money in order to help us survive, so I had to get it popping. I took way less money in order to do things that wasn't guaranteed. I took a sales job, and then I took a role. I believe it was at that time I had started going into a call center, but then I was still running my own businesses. Yo, I had to grow up fast. I wound up enrolling in school full time. It was people that was telling me that I wasn't going to be great, I wasn't going to be successful, that I was always going to be fumbling, and I had that reality check with me and my brother. And so listen, you sitting there having this conversation with you based off of the fact that you don't think that you're good enough, and I'm telling you that you've been good enough. You just not living up to your expectations. You've been good enough to do the things that you actually dreamed of when you was a kid, but all of your dreams went to the wayside, and I'm going to be reading those super chats shortly. Shout out to y'all that's hitting me off. All of your dreams went to the wayside because you started subjecting yourself to peasantry. Not pleasantries, peasantry. Not pleasantries, peasantry. You started thinking that it was okay to be normal because everybody told you that you was out of touch with what everybody else was going through. You know how many times I hear that on a daily basis? People send me an email. Oh, I read a comment. I go and check it and I see what's going on. Right? Everybody tell me all the time that I'm out of touch. I'm not out of touch. I'm in purpose. I'm not out of touch. I'm in my purpose. That's the difference. You think that I'm out of touch. I'm not out of touch. I'm very much aware of what regular people go through. I was very much a regular person. And today, in certain aspects of life, I am still very much engulfed and in the mire with the very people that I love and I adore and all my workers and everybody else. I am a person that is in the mire with you. I get my hands dirty. I really, really start to participate in the things that we building. I'm not out of touch. I'm in purpose. It's a difference. I'm aware of what it's like to get raised in the hood. I know what it's like to be broke. I know what it's like to have to move back into your parents' basement. I know what it's like to have a child that's dependent on you when you ain't got enough money in order to even go and get diapers. I know what it's like to have to work 2 and 3 jobs and go to school and not sleep for 3 hours a day, only sleep for 3 hours a day. I know what it's like to have money and then open up a business and have people steal from you. I know what it's like to actually be needing other people, but you're too prideful to ask for help. And so as a result, you continue to lean on your own understanding only to have to go through the lesson and get to the spaces that you're supposed to be in. I know what it's like to have a woman that's dependent on you when you don't know where you're going to get your next meal from. You don't know where you're going to be able to feed her, but you're going to go and figure it out anyway. I know what it's like to have a little kid that's dependent on you when they calling you daddy and they don't know that you're about to get your cars repossessed. I know what it's like to be fired. I know what it's like to be living in a household with 8 other people when you only got 3 bedrooms. I'm not out of touch. I'm in purpose. It's a difference. And so when you start being in purpose, you start changing the dynamics of your life because you no longer are subjecting yourself to all of these things that you think is normal. Being a peasant should not be your norm. That's for somebody else. That's something that somebody else gonna have to embrace. That ain't you. Being a peasant is not your norm. That should not be for you. If you listen, I understand that we need people to go out here and do these regular ass jobs in order for us, and ass is not a curse word technically, so I'm gonna just go ahead and say that out loud. I know what it's like to be out here and need these people to do these regular jobs in order for us to be able to survive on a daily basis. I get it. We need the construction workers. We need the concrete pourers. We need the mailmen. Shout out to all of the people, all of the logistics people. I understand. I'm not tripping off of that. I appreciate you. I love you. I would never, ever, ever talk negatively on anybody that is going out and working every day, because I go out and I work every day, because you are the people that keep the economy humming. You are the people that keep the movement moving. You are the people that's doing the things that other people are unwilling to do in order to make sure that we have this life of luxury. But I'm trying to tell you that it is a certain demographic of us. And if you're watching the Millionaire Morning Show today, you have to understand that you are probably a part of that demographic. There is a certain demographic of us that is not supposed to be doing that for the rest of our lives. We are not supposed to be the ones that's in the mire for the rest of our lives. You are not supposed to be working 40, 50 years of your life, still doing the same thing that you was doing when you was 20, 25 years old, talking about, I don't have no additional options. Yes, you do. If you listening to me right now, it is not based off of happenstance. It is not based off of the thing that you feel. Your purpose is not defined by the job that you have. You are not then in your purpose just because somebody else laid this at your footstool and your parents told you that this is what you were supposed to be doing for the rest of your life. You're not supposed to be being safe. You're supposed to be absolutely, positively stepping out on a thing that you're supposed to be doing on a regular basis. If you're not living in your purpose, if you're not constantly pushing yourself, if you're not evolving, if your purpose is not being revealed to you by the fact that you're doing the work and you continuing to push yourself, if you're not uncomfortable, if you're not comfortable with being uncomfortable, then you are not in your purpose and you need to get on the ball, because it is okay for whatever it is your circumstances now. But if you're still in the same position that you are a year from now and we having this conversation again, if you the person that I'm still talking to and I give you this whole conversation on September 7th, 2024, me and you going to have a problem. We're going to have to get that furniture moving in there. We're going to have some tussling and some furniture moving in there, because I'm so tired of my people talking about they're under duress. I do not want to continue to pay your rent. I do not want to continue to pay for your funeral bills. I do not want you out here asking for a GoFundMe. I do not want you over here having a fish fry. That ain't you. If you die tomorrow and your people is under duress because you did not take care of your business as a result of when you was here, you are sinning. It is a sin to live in poverty. It is a sin to be living under the spaces and the things that you then, listen, stop asking for everything from God. Stop asking for talent. Stop asking for opportunity. Stop asking for money, because all you doing is sinning when you do not leverage that in order to continue to do the thing that you're supposed to do. Have you ever read the story in the Bible? Y'all keep talking about Jesus, Mary Magdalene. You keep talking about Paul, Moses, Aaron. You keep talking about David, Abraham, Isaac. You want to talk about how Lot's wife then turned around and all of this other type of stuff. Sodom and Gomorrah, homosexuality, everything in the Bible but the thing that you were supposed to be paying attention to. You want to talk about all of the disciples. You know every book of the Bible: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles, Ezra, and Nehemiah. You know all of the New Testament: Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Acts of the Apostles, Epistles of the Romans. You read Revelations 10 times over. You keep talking about it's the end of the road, but you never read and got the context from the stories to better understand why it was a sin for you to be in the space that you're in right now. You never really paid attention to it. Do you know what happened with the talents? Huh? Did you read that story? Did you read the story where God punished the man that he had gave a little to and gave it over into the man that actually was doing more with what it is that he blessed them with? Because it is a sin for you not to live in your purpose and be the person that God has blessed you with, because that whole thing could have been given to somebody else that would have appreciated it. If you got the talent, if you got the nerve, if you got the money, if you got the opportunity, but you are still living in your mama's basement or you playing video games every day because you're not utilizing your time the way that you're supposed to, you are sinning. I don't care what your pastor told you. I don't care if the preacher is over there pandering to you. I don't care if your mama over here telling you cute. It don't make no difference. If you think that you doing enough, but you're not meeting your expectations based off of the opportunity that's presented to you, you are in sin. I don't want to hear that shit. I'm sorry. Lord, forgive me. I'm sorry. I take that last part back. Grow up. Grow up. Somebody is depending on you. They can't get what they need because you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Meet the expectation. Exceed the expectation. Come on, man. Grow up. Every day you scared and you worried. Every Sunday you dread the fact that you got to get up on Monday in order to go to work and take care of business. Grow up. We too old to still be talking about this nonsense. Still be whining about the fact that you got to get up and go to work in the morning. Grow up. I didn't hear that no more.